Hi, friends. Welcome to the Mastermind Moments podcast.
Hosted by your pals, Josh and Sasha.
Join us during our weekly mastermind as we collaborate on how to make the most out of our lives.
Not only are we going to mastermind our careers, we're going to work on all areas of life together.
Let's do it. Listen in as we make the most of our mastermind moments.
Hi.
Hi. I was going to say it feels so weird being back on here. It feels like forever since we've been on here.
I don't think we've recorded since your trip. Have we recorded since your big trip?
I think we've recorded once since my trip, but that's over a month ago. I'm pretty sure we've recorded.
Well, other than in person, like we recorded in person.
Yeah, I think we have recorded once, but we recorded on a Sunday morning.
Yes.
And then life got in the way for both of us. We were meant to record on Sunday a few days ago, and someone forgot.
Josh is exposing me right now. I was up until 6 or 9 o'clock in the morning, and we had to record at 11. And I woke up at 3 p.m. and I was like, oh my God. No, I saw a text from you and I was like, oh my God, I totally forgot. You just forgot. And I slept through it. But you know what? You've done it before.
I have. It was payback. I was sitting on my bed, like waiting, well, like my bed, on my desk chair, waiting for you to come on. I was like, maybe this is payback. Maybe she's doing this on purpose.
Can you imagine? No, I just have been getting up to the carnage. I've just been partying my ass off and staying up way too late, which we'll get into, but sleeping through it basically. I just totally forgot. I didn't have it in my schedule or anything because it's like the weekend is so separate. I don't know. So
I know what you mean. We'll have to delve deeper into that.
Yeah, we have to delve deeper into it. In the meantime, let's spin a wheel. So, what are your favorite ways to show love and appreciation to others?
Words.
What do you think? Words, yes.
For me. Definitely words. I think it's actually, I feel like I say this every time we spin the wheel. Like, it's an interesting question.
Every time.
Because it's actually something that's come up in my relationship a lot, is not fully understanding what my love language is. Know what my love language is in terms of receiving. It's definitely words. But I struggle to understand, or I think Sevitha and I have struggled to understand what it is, because I've always said words, definitely words.
Yeah.
But then I don't give much words, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not great with giving words. And so I've often thought recently, in recent months, what is my actual love language? Because if I run through all the different languages, French, Spanish, I don't speak any of them. No, but seriously, like with the physical touch, gifts, acts of service, that kind of thing, I don't really do any of those things.
Yeah.
And it's not just in a relationship, it's friends, family. I'm not great with any of them. So I don't really know. I know what I love to receive, but it's a really tricky question to answer in terms of giving it. On the surface, as we just saw, I'll very quickly say words.
Yeah.
But in reality, how often do I actually show that with words? Not very often. So it's a tricky one. I think my preference is to give love or show love with words, but why don't I do that? Why do I struggle to, not struggle, but why do it doesn't come as second nature to me to do these things. So yeah, it's tricky. I think that's my answer to the question. I don't really have another way to answer it.
Well, it's so interesting because you always say that your top love language is words of affirmation, right? And maybe that's just like the way you like to receive love. But as far as giving love, like knowing you, like my first guess would have been like words of affirmation. But now after you saying that, maybe it's like quality time and acts of service. I'm not sure because
acts of service, I don't think so. I think
You don't think
quality
so?
time. I think quality time is probably the closest, I suppose. Actually, the more I think about it, I really enjoy. If I really love someone and I want to show that I care about them, I put my time aside and spend that time with them.
Yeah.
I think I had this conversation with Sevitha and she was like, yeah, but that's not quality time. Quality time is going on dates, for example. but and which we don't do so much. We don't go on very many dates outside. Um, so yeah, it's tough, and it's something that I really need to delve deeper into and really think about, because it shows up in various points of my relationships, people not necessarily feeling loved by me.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something I need to delve into. And I think actually not excuse, but the reason I ended up coming up with Sevitha in these conversations, because we've had this conversation so many times, was that I spend a lot of my time dissociated still to this day, struggle a lot with that still, where I just drift through life, that kind of thing. And as a result, I'm not present in the moment a lot of the times. I don't give certain things, certain people the attention that they deserve. I just let time drift by. And I think when you're in that mode, in that state, it's probably quite difficult to show love, right? Because you're not thinking about it. And that's the conclusion I came to, but it's obviously something I need to snap out of, because it's going to cause issues in my longer term.
Yeah. Yeah. Because think about it now, and this is not the first time you and Savita have had this kind of conversation around. I feel like the last time we talked about this, it was her saying that she needed more physical touch from you. So all around, like if it's multiple areas that you should be showing love, then maybe that's something to actually focus on and think about and be like, how can I nurture my relationships or my relationship? Because this is, oh yeah, we did it for, what are your favorite ways to show love and appreciate others? I mean, it can be romantic, but it can be other ways too. So it's like,
Yeah.
how can you nurture your relationships in ways, especially if like some things might come more naturally than others? It was actually really funny because I came back from, for the audience, the last episode you heard was us at the Wimbledon line, and we just had the best time like together. But I remember coming back to Paris, and I had therapy the next day, and I was like, oh yeah, I spent time with Josh, and he's like, how was it? I was like, it was amazing. And I was like, Josh is 100% like my best friend, but I'm like, I don't know if I'm his best friend. And he goes, Sasha, does he have a podcast with anybody else? And I was like, no.
Yeah.
And you guys talk like at least, you guys talk once a week on the phone or like on the podcast. And he's like, you guys also message separately, right? And I was like, yeah. He's like, I highly doubt he does that with other people. He probably just doesn't say it. I was like, probably. Like, I know.
That's interesting. Yeah. First of all, undisputed best friend.
Right?
Secondly, I'm really curious where that came from. Like, what was behind that? Is it
Honestly,
because I don't say these things? The other thing is, I feel like I used to say these things. I think actually something really interesting. I think I've spoken about this on the podcast before.
Yeah.
When I get bored, sometimes I go on Messenger, on Facebook Messenger, and I look through old chats with people.
Yeah.
And
this has come up because we talked about some like old stuff.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. And I was doing it today, actually. Sometimes I go and do that, and I look back at me in my early 20s, not that long ago, like 5-6 years ago, and my words were so expressive. Like I was so over the top, borderline like flirty with everyone, but it wasn't. Like it was how I think a lot of people in the Tony Robbins environment spoke to each other. Just very positive, airy fairy talk. But I was so good with my words. I was so like complimentary to people and calling people beautiful and really using my words. And that's not something I do as much anymore. And I think I used to message people like you or other people and say how much I love you and how much I appreciate you. And that used to be a big thing in my life. So words was definitely very prominent, but I don't know where that's gone. Maybe it's gone with with my passion for life. No, I'm joking. That's really dark.
Maybe it's just died out with
just
your
my
personality.
soul. Yeah, my personality. Yeah, thanks.
This is your work. Corporate life has just crushed you.
Apparently 1 month in corporate and I'm done. Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's a very interesting thing. I think there's so many things like this that I want to delve deeper into with my understanding of myself. And I think I really need to start therapy. I've been thinking about it for a long time, and Sevitha's been saying, please, you should start therapy. I think I need to do it. I think it would be really helpful for me. But I think my fear of therapy is not finding a good therapist.
Yeah.
The last time I had a regular therapist. It took me like 3 different therapists before I found the right one.
Right.
So it's quite a lot of money splashed. And I just want to make sure you get it right, but it's not so easy. And sometimes it's just got to be done. So
Yeah. It can definitely be hit or miss for sure. I think with my current therapist, it took 2 tries to find this one, but my current therapist is like my couples therapist from when I was with my ex. So, but even when with my ex, we like saw one person and she was not, we knew after 3-4 sessions, she was not a good fit. Actually, she's the one who broke up with us, truthfully. She was the one who's like, I'm not a good fit for this couple, blah, blah, blah. And then we ended up finding our current therapist. And it was like, now he's great. But after we worked together, like me and my ex and the therapist worked together for 6 months. And now he's just my therapist. But I also find that's like helpful because my ex is a very private person. And it's really helpful to talk to someone else. Literally the only other person on the planet who has talked to my ex about what's been happening in his life. So if I'm like processing through something about the breakup and my therapist will be like, my ex said this thing or my ex said that thing or whatever, it's really helpful to have that. But it is trial and error and it is hit or miss. And it is interesting that you're noticing right now that maybe, I don't know. I think it's really interesting and something to really sit on, and maybe we can dive deeper into it of like your girlfriends like requesting more like signs of love and affection, and then me coming back from our trip and being like, I'm Josh's best friend, or Josh is my best friend, but am I his? Like, why have I been why did I question that after spending the weekend with you? And that was really interesting too. So maybe it's a matter of diving into what do my current like inner circle relationships look like, because we talked about like the rings of people in your life, but the super, super intimate inner ring, what are you doing to actively nurture those relationships and make sure the people around you feel loved and taken care of?
yeah, but that's on that note. Another interesting thing I've noticed recently, in recent months, has been some of my closest friends. I've been very much distancing myself from them, and I don't know if it's because I've really delved headfirst into my relationship, my romantic relationship, and things have really gone from, I'm not going to say it's from 0 to 100, but from 60 to 100 very quickly. And I think as a result, my friendships have suffered. I don't feel lonely. I don't feel like I'm missing out or anything. I used to get mad FOMO. I'm not getting that. But I think I see my closest friends, social friends, less these days.
Yeah.
And I think that is also something that comes with age. As you get older and your life takes over with work, with your relationship, with a potential family in the future. Obviously, I'm not quite there yet, but with work and my relationship, you do start to see your friends less. You get busy with other things. So my friend Theo, for example, one of my absolute best friends, I used to see him at least once a week, sometimes twice a week for a good couple of years, pretty much every week. Now, we're lucky if it's like once a month. I very rarely have the time or the energy for him. My other friend Danny, I try to make more time for because I'm also his children's godfather. So that's more important. Maybe that's why he did it. Maybe I wasn't giving him enough attention, so he made me the godfather. So yeah, anyway, lots to think about. We don't have to delve into it now. What about you?
Oh, how do I nurture my relationships? Well, honestly, like I think people always ask, oh, what are your top love languages? And I'm like, honestly, I love them all. I love them all so much. Let's normalize doing all 5 for other people. I will say, like, being in transit and traveling makes it a little bit more challenging. But at the same time, I'd say, like, in my life, most of my relationships have been long distance and virtual anyway, right? We've been going to this Tony Robbins summer camp since we were kids. So, like, most of my close friends I've met through Tony Robbins. So the nature of these relationships is that they're very long distance, and like really the only way to nurture those relationships are through phone calls, texts, like literally words of affirmation, unless I'm going to visit people and then it's quality time. But I'd say it's like right now very much so reaching out to pals like over text, calls, whatever. Like honestly, my favorite thing ever is like voice messages, and obviously we talk about this like every fucking episode where it's like I'm sending you voice messages and you always get the longest ones or the most in-depth ones. I have like friends going through breakups and they come to mind and I'm like, oh yeah, they're going through a breakup. Let me send them a message, see how they're doing, like what's going on. Just like really quick, just send a quick voice message to be like, hey, I'm thinking about you. Like, how are you doing? Sending whatever. Love to send a gift. Love to get a gift from people. Like, I love getting gifts for people. It's like my favorite thing. And quality time too. I really think it's just like focusing love languages and see where that goes. Like, I truthfully love all of them. I think my love languages for my friendships and family relationships are very different from my romantic relationships. I really value words of affirmation and quality time, words of affirmation with my friends and family, but with my romantic partner, it's like very much so like quality time, physical touch, and like words and like those kind of rotate, but like still love to buy a gift for someone. I think it's just like reaching out when you can. And honestly, like I have a list in my Notion of loved ones to just reach out to and connect with every once in a while, like just to check in, see how they're doing. And I go through that list, and typically when I'm ovulating, I'll be like, okay, I got to reach out to these 6 people this week, just shoot them a quick text, see how they're doing, see if we want to schedule like a FaceTime or catch up or whatever, and just go with the flow. Like for the most part, I think I'm typically the one to reach out to my relationships, and I'm typically the one to put in the work and nurture the relationships. Not all the time, but then I have noticed like there are, yeah, I'm typically the one calling. I'm typically the one texting. That's just how it is. So I think it's just like continuously reaching out to people and like seeing what they're up to, making sure that they know that they're being thought about. They know they're being loved on, even if it's like really far away. So,
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, you have to be, I think, with love languages, with how you show love, you have to be adaptable, because you're going to be put in situations throughout your life where you're not going to be able to give physical touch. Even if you grew up with physical touch as your number one, you're not going to be able to give that if you're, for example, in your position where you're traveling around. So you have to be adaptable and start to give love in different ways. I think receiving is different. Receiving, you can still receive love in the way that you want primarily, but giving, I think you have to be more adaptable. And maybe that's a lesson for me as well, is I'm not being adaptable. Maybe I don't even necessarily have a top love language. Maybe it's a bit of both, a bit of everything that I need to incorporate.
I think that's more the way than these like top 1 to 2, because there's so much hype around, oh, what are your top 2 love languages? I don't think that's true. I feel like it's you probably lean more towards 1 or 2. You probably need 1 or 2 more in a moment. But like in general, I think we should normalize like doing a little bit of each for each person. If we can, right? Do what you can, right? So I don't know.
Exactly. Which like you are, which is a good thing. Because you're in a position where, you have to be flexible with so many things in your life. And on that note, how are you finding things traveling and being in Paris?
I'm good.
Have we recorded? We have recorded since you've been in Paris, I think at least once.
Yes, I think we've recorded 1 to 2 times.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 to 2 times for sure. I'm so happy here. I'm having the best time ever. It's like on the wheel of life, right? My fun and recreation is like a fucking 11. It's like a 15. I sent Josh this voice message yesterday. First of all, I was having like a highly anxious day. But second of all, I like told him about my entire weekend, and it's just been crazy, insane fun, because there's a long weekend here in Paris for the French. I was still working on US holidays, but I've just been having the best time really hanging out with my housemates. And even on a normal night, like last night I got drinks with my coworkers after work, and I came home. First of all, I'm getting texts from all my housemates being like, where the hell are you? When are you coming home? Which feels so nice. But then I get home and there's music bopping, and I'm like, I'm like, I need to get onto PJs. I get into PJs and they just have a dance party. We're just hanging. So it's every night's just fun. I'm just really enjoying. I'm really having fun. Just like loving being here. As far as, because I guess the last time we like talked about like regular stuff, it's been almost a month. Some of my housemates, some of my French housemates have told me that my French has really improved. So that's like a huge plus that I feel like as far as personal growth goes, that was something I was really focusing on this summer. And I still feel like my immersion could be more, but I think I've let go of that expectation of myself to be like fluent by the end of the summer. But I have gotten the verbal confirmation from a handful of like French friends that my French is like really improved, and that feels awesome. And I'm really happy about that. So those 2 areas are going like really well, I'd say. Where I feel like and friends are like top right now. Family's like pretty great right now. I did have my uncle like passed yesterday. Not like blood uncle, but chosen family uncle.
Yeah.
That's it is like death is a part of life. Grief is real, and yeah, so but like family's doing well right now. Friends are doing really well right now. I'd say like the areas where I feel like I'm challenged are, and I wouldn't even call them necessarily challenged. No, I would. I'd say like career slash like work and then health are where I'm feeling challenged right now. As far as career goes, everything is getting done. Like all of the work is getting done, but I just feel like I'm not prioritizing my getting through my to-do lists in the same way that I was up until Paris. But also at the same time, when I was traveling by myself for the first 4 months of the year, when in my spare time, that's all I would do. I would just work. I would just work. So it was like easy to push through my to-do list if I'm working these insane hours and like only going out and seeing wherever I am for a couple hours a day and then spending the rest of the time alone tied to my computer. Now it's like in the evenings, instead of working, I'm hanging out with my housemates. So it's like I've made that trade-off of like career to fun. And it's like I'm being really self-critical about it because all the work is still getting done. Like the podcast is still being produced. I'm still producing 3 episodes a week, still a daily vlog, still getting all my shit done for my 9 to 5. I think the admin stuff has taken a little bit of a back burner, but I feel like I don't know. I feel like I'm being exceptionally self-critical right now because we didn't talk about this. So I had a coffee with like a board member of my current 9 to 5, and I've made it very apparent that growing in this company is something I want to do and something I want to see for myself, and like equity is something I want in this company. Like I feel really tied to this mission and I feel really drawn to being with this company long term, if that makes sense. And like that was received really well, and I'm having conversations with the current president and my boss, and they are being they're being super upfront with me where they know I've been with the company like the longest out of everybody. And they're like, where do you want this role to go? Where do you see it growing? Like they are full on asking me like, anywhere you want to take this role, we're here to support you. What do you want? Yeah. So like the opportunity for growth in this current company I'm like right on the threshold of it and right on the cusp of a huge explosion there. And I feel that. And it's like I need to take some time and sit down and like really think about where I want to go long term with this company because I do see a future there. But there's 2 things simultaneously happening, right? There's my 9 to 5 job and then there's my podcast. And I told the board member that I met with, I was like, listen, I'm going to continue to do both until I can't anymore, until one like completely takes over or one's like wildly successful and I just don't have the time or energy for the other. I'm going to continue to do both.
Yeah.
And I see like both paths so clearly, and I don't know how long I'm going to be able to do both. At least for like the short term, I definitely can. But it's like I'm being super self-critical, saying like, oh, my career is suffering, but at the same time, it's like I'm really on the cusp of 2 huge career moves, and not career moves, but career advancements, and that feels really exciting. So I think I might be self-critical there. And as far as physical health goes, I'm again like, in some ways, it's going fine. Like I'm moving every day. I'm like working out a lot more. I'm not eating the healthiest right now, mainly just because like I'm having munchies in the middle of the night. So that's a struggle. But the movement is good. The food is good sometimes. But I will say what I'm really fucking struggling with right now is sleep. And I know that's because last night I slept 9 hours. It was freaking awesome. I was like, I have to go to sleep early. I told my housemates, I was like, do not let me go to bed past like 1. Don't let me do it. And I was like, I'm going to sleep good night. And it was nice to actually get sleep last night. But I have not been sleeping a lot. And I've been partaking in a lot of substances. And by a lot, just the one, basically. I'm basically just smoking. And this is something that we've talked about and something that we said we were going to talk about more on the pod. But I know you said you were worried about me with like all of my usage. It's just like I'm sitting and thinking about it and I'm like, this year is fun, is something I really wanted to prioritize. And I'm like, when in my life am I ever going to do this? Literally never.
I think with that, it gets to a point where, yes, it's a fun thing to do, But I think it gets to a point where the negatives may outweigh the positives, and it doesn't necessarily become, I'm doing this for fun. It's more you're doing it because it's part of your habit now. It's part of your routine.
Yeah.
And I feel like I definitely got to that point years ago, not even that long ago, to be honest. Last summer, to be honest, I was in that position. I think if you have easy access to it and it becomes a part of your routine, I used to do it just because I had it. I had it in my room or in my apartment, in my house, and I could do it. It didn't make me feel great. It didn't really add anything to my life every single night that I did it. But
Yeah.
it was just a part of my routine. And I was like, it might bring me something different tonight. But most of the time it didn't. It would leave me feeling groggy the next day, needing me to probably smoke in order to feel semi-normal or have caffeine or something to feel semi-normal. I think it does get to a point where, yes, I get you're saying I'm doing it for fun, and this year is meant to be about fun, but I think you need to be careful with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think you're right. I think you're 100% right. I see myself doing this right now out of habit, and I think also out of culture as well. Like the culture of the city is like a very smoke heavy city with cigarettes specifically, but this house it is so cultural in this house. Like that's people hang out we call it the sacred smoke circle. We have this gorgeous garden out in the backyard and people sit. It's this ongoing joke. Like if you want to have a private conversation, like never sit outside in the sacred smoke circle because it can be 3 o'clock in the morning and someone will be getting home from something and go outside for a cigarette and sit out there. It can literally be any time of day and someone is out there like smoking
Yeah.
something. So it's like such a big cultural part of the house to sit out in the circle and smoke. And no one's pressuring anyone. If you're not into it, like they know who to skip in the rotation.
Yeah.
And some people just sit out there and don't smoke, whatever. They just want to hang. But I do think it's like become part of the culture and kind of part of habit. And I'm like very aware that right now it is that. I'm just enjoying it so much and saying, okay, I have literally 1 month left of being in Paris. Like I leave a month from today. I was like, I have a month left of hanging out in Paris. And I know after this, it's not going to be daily. Like I know it. Just I can't. Because when I'm by myself, it's not.
No, of
Yeah.
course.
Like when I'm by
Yeah.
myself, I have really great boundaries around like when is okay and when is not okay to partake in all of this. But then
And I feel like that's an interesting point, actually, because that's probably why you took a bit of a step back when you were here. Obviously, you had the option with my ridiculous bag that I have,
yeah.
and still will continue to have long beyond this summer. But you had that option. I think the first night we smoked, or yeah, we didn't we? You rolled up to take it to the concert on Saturday, and obviously, for whatever reason, the universe said, "Nah, not today." And you forgot it, you left it behind, which, I mean, I don't know if you want to tell that story, but it turned out to be a great thing.
Huge blessing. Huge blessing. I'll tell the story. Basically, I rolled up to take it to a concert and I forgot it outside. And because I like put it outside, it's okay, I'll get on the way out. Forgot it. We got to the train station and I was like, oh my God, I forgot. And I specifically rolled this thing for the show. Like this thing was a fatty. And we got to the concert and the dog like sniffed me and they said, we're going to do a really thorough check. If you have anything, you can give it over to us and you can still go in. But if you don't, we're going to kick you out. And I had to check myself 3 times. I'm like, I actually forgot it, right? Like I definitely did. And this security guard was all up in my business. She was like up in my bra. She was like every little nook and cranny. She was up in me, up on me, both. It was both up in me and up on me. She was, and I told her, I was like, listen, I smoked before this, so I probably smell like it, but I don't have anything on me. And they let me go in, but it was a huge blessing. And I was okay that night, like not smoking. I think I smoked like during that, like before we left. But
Yeah.
yeah, I did take a step back. And that's the other thing is like when I'm by myself, I'll have a couple and like half of one and leave it. Like you saw, like I'll smoke like a bit of it and then leave it. But here at the house, it's just like a constant rotation. And you finish one and someone's rolling another one. And it's, oh my God, do you guys just do this out of like habit? And because that's not how I function with all of this. I roll on the weekends and I'll like Or if anyone wants some of mine, I just give it away. I'm like, okay, here, have it, whatever. I don't care. But yeah, these people like continuously go. So I think for right now, I'm aware that it's habit, aware it's cultural, and aware it's not very good for me. But I'm like in the headspace where I'm like, I'm cool, like being crazy until the summer's over. And then I think once Burning Man's over, first of all, I'm not going to partake at all when I'm in Asia. First of all, like that's just not.
This is risky. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just not something I'm going to partake in. So I think I'm going to have a 3-month break basically of just not doing any of that. And I think I'm just like okay with being a party girl this summer, like European summer baby, like whatever. This is half the point. But I am aware that it is. I really want to be careful about it long term. I know this isn't good for me in general, especially with lungs and everything, but I do want to be very aware about how I feel about it after this summer and like what do the cravings look like? What does it feel like? What's happening? But for now, I'm okay just like being party girl.
Yeah. And listen, if you want to be party girl and have fun in the summer and let loose and be a bit crazy in the summer, when are you going to do it?
Yeah. And this year specifically.
Specifically at your age as well. I keep reading, it keeps coming up, interestingly, considering I'm at an age where I'm really trying to settle down a little bit or calm down a bit.
Yeah.
But it's a theme that keeps coming up that in your 20s are for living, they're for having fun. You don't have to care about money. It's for trying new things. And you're in that prime time right now. You are absolutely in that prime time and in that prime year where you should be doing these things.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm the prime. I think the 20s are definitely made for work hard, play hard. Yeah. Grind as much as you can. Start the business, make those career moves, do the networking. And then on the flip side, take the risks, like really push yourself. But then on the flip side, I think it's also have as much fun as possible. Like just make it look fun and not even make it look fun, but just enjoy your life because it's the stage in life where you don't really have a ton of responsibilities. So I want to be able to take advantage of that right now. I know I'm never going to have this opportunity again. So definitely taking advantage of that. Something I do want to touch on is like yesterday I sent Josh a 15-minute voice message. The first half, basically just like a highly anxious voice message yesterday, talking about my love life and then also talking about like my weekend plans and like what I did over the weekend and just the anxiety in general. But it was really interesting because first of all, what you said to me really stuck with me, specifically about my love life. Like I was telling Josh about everything that was happening. It's like, I feel so anxious. I feel like I'm whatever. And then Josh said to me, he was like, your feelings about the situation are not related to the situation at all. And that is completely true. And I think once I verbalized to you what was happening, and once I said it out loud, I was like, oh, this is literally just anxiety. Like this is literally just in my head. And I also think like, it was a highly anxious day with work and everything in general, but also wanting to note that I was on like 4 hours of sleep, a double shot of espresso, and no food. So
need I say more? Need you say more? Yeah.
I think I just wasn't taking care of my body. And we talked about this on the last episode. Was like, oh, have you hydrated? Have you slept? Have you worked out? Have you gotten something healthy to eat? And I'm like, no, I haven't eaten anything today. I've had 2 cups of coffee. I barely slept. I'm not drinking a lot of water because I'm drinking coffee and I'm highly anxious. And then you're like, well, are you good? What's happening?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's really important to look after yourself and to identify that if you're not necessarily looking after yourself, you're not getting enough sleep, you're not eating healthily, you're not exercising, you're not going to feel great. I think when you feel like shit, it's really important to almost have a mental checklist in your head and run through it and go, okay, am I doing these things? And the chances are you're not. And that's why you're feeling anxious or feeling depressed or whatever you're feeling. So I think maybe even having something written down, I think is quite a good idea so that if you're ever feeling like shit, you have something to refer to. I think it's actually a really smart thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What are the top 10 things you need to do to take care of yourself? Or if you're doing all the 10 things and you're still feeling like shit, okay, call your fucking therapist. But up until then, okay, so we're going to brainstorm it right now. Have you moved your body? Have you meditated? Have you gotten enough sleep? Have you eaten healthy food? Have you hydrated? You might not even need more than those 5 things.
No, I think that's pretty much the core, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're doing those 5 things and you're still feeling like shit, okay, let's talk. But if you're not doing those 5 things and you're feeling like shit, like, that's on you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So it's an easy formula. And
I think so.
I think the things you were telling me that you were feeling anxious about, I was like, there's no reason to feel anxious about that. I'm not going to I'm not going to put down your feelings and how you're feeling, and you're entitled to feel that way. But at the same time, I am, because you're not doing the right things.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And it's so interesting because, long story short, I was telling Josh all of these like little details about my love life and, oh, this person's doing this or not doing this, or we hung out this time and not this time and blah, blah, blah. And that, like, in reality, when you look at all of it on paper, like, we're totally fine. And something that he and I talked about was something that Josh is actually very worried about, which I'm just gonna fucking say, is me catching feelings for my summer fling. And it's, well, I have feelings for him, but they can only go as deep as the situation.
Well, yeah, of course you have feelings. I think my concern is more that it goes too far, feel too strong in a certain direction.
Yeah. And thankfully, I feel that internal boundary feels so strong and honestly gets stronger. Like, the more time I spend with this person, the more I'm like, oh, if I was in a long-term relationship, that would never fucking fly. And there's like,
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are things that kind of,
yeah. And those moments come up, and like, for me right now, I'm just like, whatever, it's the summer. I don't care. We're only going to be hanging out for the next 3 weeks. So whatever. But like, long term, it would like never fly. And it's like the feelings could only get as deep as the situation. And that feels really good. Like, it feels good to have those like internal boundaries. And I know that's something you were worried about, but I honestly don't feel worried about it, really.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So tell me what's happening with you.
What's happening with me? Well, on a similar vein, I haven't been looking after my physical health. I haven't been feeling terrible about it, but I think that's because I've had other things going on in my life. So when I saw you, work was going pretty badly. I was really not enjoying it. It was very stressful. I was like, I can't fucking do this. You left on the Monday. I ended up getting my first contract signed that Monday night. And then I ended up doing another 7 deals last week. So I went from 0 to 7 in the space of a week.
Hell yeah.
Done
You're just
another
being self-critical and like not patient with yourself.
I think that was it. Patience. I think patience.
Yeah.
And that's what people kept telling me at work as well. You need to be patient. I got another one yesterday. This week has been harder because I think off the back of last week, I had such an air of confidence. I was feeling really good about the work I was doing. And I got to this week and I'm like, I'm going to continue putting in the work. In fact, I'm going to 5x it. I'm going to put in 5 times the amount of work and get 5 times the results. And unfortunately, it hasn't happened that way. But it's sales. Every week is different. And I'm going to get there. I'm just so fucking, this is what's frustrating. I'm so close to my target now because of the work that I did last week. So work is really good now and I'm really enjoying it. I had my work summer party on Thursday last week, which was great fun, but I drank an enormous amount, which was silly because I was too drunk. Like, I was very clearly slurring my speech and stuff, which isn't great at a work party.
Yeah.
And then I felt like shit the next day. And the worst part of it all, I don't know if I told you this in a voice message or anything. So I left my laptop and my bag. I was this drunk. I left my laptop and my bag at the bar in the party.
Oh no.
And I left and I got all the way home and I was like, where's my fucking laptop? I fucking left my laptop. And I called one of my colleagues who I knew would still be there because he's always one of the last out, supposedly. And he wasn't answering. I called him and eventually he picked up. And I said, please, can you pick up my bag? And he said yes. And he found it. He picked up my bag. But what it meant is that I then, horrendously hungover, had to go and meet him in the office the next morning. So I had to wake up at 7 a.m., go meet him in the office. Felt like shit.
Oh.
So anyway, stupid, learned my lesson. Or did, I don't know. I'm 28, almost 29. I should be Should know better than to drink that much by now, but it happens. And also, I blame my boss because he kept buying shots. He kept buying shots all night.
Okay. Yeah. Like, it's difficult when your boss is buying the drinks and handing them to you. Like, that's challenging.
It's hard. My boss, he kept coming up to me. So what I've learned, I've been out with my boss 3 times now drinking.
Okay.
If you are within a 10-meter vicinity of the bar when he's at the bar, you're getting shots, whether you like it or not. And multiple times, which was quite sweet actually, multiple times he came up to me throughout the night and he was like, I love you, man. I love you. I'm so proud of you. You're doing amazingly. Honestly, I love you. He kept saying it throughout the night. I was like,
That's so sweet.
that's really nice. You know, that's really
Yeah.
nice. Especially, and I was like, thank God I had such a good week this week. It would have been pretty shit if I didn't.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, that was good. That was nice. So anyway, work is good. I'm enjoying it. Fucking great company to work for. The job is much better now. I'm in my flow. I know what I'm doing better now.
Right.
Physical health is up and down. It's
Right.
up and down. I've put on weight. I've put on about 4 or 5 kg since I last lost that weight, or since I last checked and I'd lost that weight, which isn't great. I was really proud of the progress that I made in such a
Yeah.
short amount of time, and then I've put it back on. And it is just because I've been eating like shit. I haven't been eating well. I haven't been exercising at all since
Yeah.
I played a bit of football. But yeah, very minimal. So I know what I need to do to fix that. I guess the biggest topic of the week for me, you are aware, but I don't think this was mentioned on the podcast, that the Sevitha is moving in. I asked her to move in at the start of the month. I won't get into the full story because she got kicked out of her place and it meant that I stepped in sooner than I probably would have. I probably would have left it another couple of months.
Right.
But I then have had the horrible task of kicking one of my flatmates out. And I'm not going to say I had to decide who, because I knew who it was going to be all along. Ultimately, the person that has caused the most damage and has caused me the most discomfort living here, because she wakes me up when she gets home from work at ridiculous hours of the night, and not ideal. So I knew who I was going to kick out, but how to do it was stumping me. I just couldn't think how to be nice about it. And
Yeah.
I ended up coming home from a concert on Saturday a few days
Oh
ago.
no. Oh no.
What? Where do you
I
think
just
this is
feel
going?
like this
I
is
want to
going
know.
poorly. I
I,
feel like this is gonna start with you being like, yeah, I came home from a concert Saturday night and I was under some sort of influence and she was there and I was just like, bitch, get out.
well, funnily enough, for once, not under the influence of anything.
Okay.
It
Cute.
was just a concert. One of my favorite DJs. Just had a great time. Came home and she was sitting in the living room and she said, Josh, can I talk to you for a couple of minutes just from a tenant landlord perspective? And I was like, yeah, sure. She said, it's just going to be 2 minutes. Don't worry. Nothing major. And she then went on to basically say about the cleanliness of the flat and how dirty it gets sometimes and how we can fix that. And then she asked me, she was like, so out of interest, what's your long-term plan for me? What's your long-term plan for me as a flatmate? And I said, well, to be honest, I don't really know, because obviously this would have been a perfect time to say it, right?
Yeah.
Not for me. I said, to be honest, Sevitha is going to be moving in very soon. And she was like, oh, really? How soon are we talking? 6 months, a year? And I was like, maybe, but probably more like 2 months. And she was like, and you just saw her face like change, like
Does she
completely
know
shift.
that? Does she know that once Sevita's in, she's out?
Well, I think she figured it out.
Okay.
So she was immediately like, Josh, I'm going to actually get down on my knees and beg you not to kick me out. Please. I'm in the middle of filming. She's in the middle of filming this big Netflix show. And she was like, I can't, it'll make my life so hard. Because they're filming like 20 minutes from here. It's super close.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I can't do it now. After she's said all these things, like, how can I then just go and say, yeah, sorry? And Sevitha was in my bedroom listening to the whole thing at the time. And I was like, what the fuck do I do? And if I don't do it now, Sevita's going to be fucking mad with me. And I couldn't do it. I was like, I can't fucking do it. It's
Yeah.
such a horrible conversation to have, especially after she's just said these things. Went into the bedroom. Sevitha was mad at me because I should have done it there and then. And basically, the longer I leave it, the longer Sevitha is going to have to live out of a suitcase because she won't have anywhere to store her stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, she then texted me overnight and was like, listen, I understand if you want to kick me out, but just so I know, can you tell me why? And if I've done anything wrong, just so I know for future reference. I'm young, and I just want to know so I can learn and not do these things again. And I woke up to that message and I said to Sevitha, I was like, this is the perfect opportunity. This is how I can do it. Because I can go back to her and say, I had a long chat with Sevitha last night, and this is the conclusion I've come to.
Yeah.
This is the reason why. I'm sorry. And I did. I sent her a 7-minute voice message because I figured there's a very good chance I won't see her. And I didn't want to do it over text. So I sent her a long voice message. Sounded very remorseful, I think, in the message as well. I felt really bad, and I did feel bad. I felt horrible about it. And I still do. And she accepted it, and she was like, I get it, and please don't feel bad. I understand it's a really horrible decision to make. Must have been so hard. And she understood. I think my flatmate is so nice. She's such a nice person. She wouldn't say if she was upset. She wouldn't say if she was mad.
Yeah.
I think whenever someone crosses her, it's always they did it because they did it for a reason. But she always believes in that. But I think deep down she's hurting.
Yeah.
I haven't seen her really since. I had my dad round for dinner last night, and she was there, but just
In passing.
didn't talk to us. Yeah, in passing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a really horrible conversation to have. I went to my whole family for advice on it. My mum's got one of her best friends visiting from Australia right now, and I asked her for advice. She's a public speaker, so she was trying to coach me on it, and I was like, it's horrible. It's a horrible thing to do, but I think it's one of those things that in life we have to do.
Yeah.
My mum warned me actually when I bought this place. She was like, by renting out other rooms, by being a landlord, you are going to have to do really difficult things. You know, you're going to have to have
difficult conversations.
You're going to have to have difficult, unexpected expenditures, all of these different things, and you have to be prepared for that. Prepared. You can't do this, and you should just buy a 1-bedroom apartment instead. And I chose this path because I thought it'd be fun to live with people, and it has been fun to live with people, and it's been really fun for all the ups and downs. It's been really fun to live with her. Very fun to have had a great relationship, great time with my other flatmate. But it's just one of those things that whether it was now or in a year, at some point I was going to have this conversation. For one reason or another. So yeah, it's tough. We have to do these things in life.
Yeah, I think life is going to be full of really difficult conversations like this all the time. Like definitely around roommate stuff, but even if you're living with a long-term partner and like a romantic partner, like you still have to have these difficult conversations about how to manage living together. And it's not just roommate stuff like in life. Like you're asking for a raise or you're having a performance review or you need to have a friend breakup or you need to have an actual breakup or you need to do whatever. Like life is full of these really difficult conversations like this. And I think you're putting yourself through, by owning an apartment and by renting out the rooms, you definitely are putting yourself in a situation where you have to have these really difficult conversations with people. But also, if anyone has listened to the podcast, you can go back literally to some of our first episodes, which we started also, by the way, recording anniversary. We like totally missed talking about that.
I know. Yeah.
Crazy. So we just hit our recording anniversary. I know like for the audience, our episodes are like behind the current time. So it's not our launch anniversary, but it is our recording anniversary, which is so wild to think about.
Flies.
I know, it's crazy. It's so crazy, right? And so you've been having challenges with this roommate for basically a year.
Since we started recording.
Yeah, like for a year. So you've given her a year to do her things, and difficult conversations are really normal and they have to be had. And you gave her a time frame when she needs to leave, yeah? Okay.
Well, yes and no. So I said I want to be nice and I want to be flexible as much as I can. So because she's filming and it is going to make her life really hard, and I feel really bad about it. So I said, listen, Sevitha's moving in at the start of September. realistically you should be out by mid-September because that's 2 months notice and that's standard. But I said I'm happy to be flexible. I'm happy to give you a bit more time if you can figure things out. So there's no set date, but it's going to be around September time.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's all in the works. Yeah. It's just, it's hard. It's a horrible thing to do.
It is. It's really difficult, but you did it. And I think the voice message way, well, first of all, let's talk about the fact of how far you've come, because last year when you were having these difficult conversations, you kept doing it over text. And I think it's shown a lot of growth, the fact that you had it over voice message. And I don't know why we didn't think about that solution earlier, because you can hear in your tone of voice that you're not happy about having to have this conversation. So I think it's, first of all, like just the growth that you're showing and how you're having these communications is fantastic to look at and something to really sit on. And I think it's going to be normal.
I think the next step, of course, is having all of these conversations in person, face to face.
Yeah.
They are horrible conversations to have. And I think my issue is voice messages I can do, but face to face, I just freeze up. When I have to have a really difficult conversation where I know the other person is going to be upset, I end up falling over my words. I end up just like freezing. It's almost like stage fright.
Yeah.
Because I know, especially when the other person becomes visibly upset after I've announced whatever I'm telling them, it's what the fuck do I do? And then I try and backtrack to say things differently and to try and make things better, but that only makes the situation more difficult.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But as you say, they've come a long way, and there's going to be plenty more of these conversations throughout my life.
I think so.
We have to have difficult conversations. Hopefully not too many of this fashion, because I think in the future, I may be a landlord in the future, but hopefully not a live-in landlord with friends.
Yeah.
Because I really built a relationship with Rochelle over the last year. Whereas future tenants, I won't have that kind of relationship with them. So it's more of a business relationship, whereas this isn't. It's, I would say, like 10% business, 90% friend.
Right.
That's what made it so difficult.
Right. Exactly. And that's that when you blur the lines like that, it's going to be way more challenging to have the difficult conversation, because you're not just dealing with landlord-tenant relationship, you're dealing with a friendship relationship. But Sevitha moving in is a super exciting thing. And I think it's something to dive into more in general about like how you want to be intentional approaching this like new phase of your relationship. And I think it's something we should discuss more for sure, because it's, let's say two friends start a business, you're adding like working to a friendship. Let's say two partners are moving in together, you're adding roommate to your relationship, and it does change the dynamic of your relationship, and being like very thoughtful and intentional about how you want that to look. Also, unsolicited advice, and I'm gonna fucking give it right now. Sit down and have a real conversation about how do you, because I know like when you are with a partner and you guys spend time together and you guys spend weekends together, whatever, yeah, you guys see how each other interacts, but it's very different in day to day, especially when you're day in, day out. It's like, how do you like to keep the apartment? What are your pet peeves? What are you like a little bit more flexible on? And then another thing is sit down and what chores, how do you want to split up like the housework? And then what chores do you love doing and what chores do you hate doing? And sit down and figure out that split before you even move in together. And just sit down and have all of those conversations before you move in together, because when you do it like in the beginning stages, everyone's, oh yeah, it's fine, blah. You know what I mean? Everyone's trying to be nice and tiptoe around each other, and that's not how how you're gonna have a healthy living relationship with your partner.
Yeah.
But you're adding a new dynamic to your relationship and being very intentional about, even if you want me to cut this out, I can, but even sexually, like how you want to, sexually and romantically, like how you want to separate the two and just be like, what's too much, what's not enough, like how do you need alone time, do you not need alone time, like when do we put in friend time, like figuring out that balance and that dynamic. Like it's something to really sit and sort through. I cannot hear you anymore. Do we lose your audio? Anyway, everybody, we have lost Josh's audio, but we were like ending anyway. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of Mastermind Moments. Please catch us next week. And catch us next week. Anyway, Josh is waving bye. Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode.
Don't forget to subscribe. Leave us a review and follow along on social media.
If you would like us to help you mastermind something in your life, please send us a message.
We'll see you next week on the Mastermind Moments podcast.